Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dirty Side of the Grid podcast. I've turned up late to qualifying, and do you know what it is? It's so late. It's not even qualifying. We missed the race. I've pulled up onto the grid of an F1 car, and I'm surrounded by MotoGP motorbikes. So certain guys are gonna have to get punted off their mopeds, to be honest. Um, I'm Mohamed, and as you might see on the video, but if you're on audio, you won't know that Yusuf isn't actually here. This episode is gonna come out pretty late, but he's not available and we haven't had any guests on yet. So I just thought, you know what? I'll do it myself. So I guess we're here. We're doing this now. Austrian Grand Prix. It's been quite a few days, but I'm here to talk about it. There's still like a week until France, so but might as well fill that gap. Feels weird not doing this for a long time. So mad, we're actually gonna have to skip so much stuff. I'll try I'll try to do as much as I can by myself, but at the same time, I won't be the things Yusuf does. I won't be doing them myself. So yeah, this I'm just gonna be waffling this whole hour, but we'll see how it goes. Um, yeah. Oh my, the guy used his Mega Driver. That is very interesting. Oh my, I've just seen in the fantasy. Well, fantasy happens at the end, so we're saving that for now. Um, Jeez. Okay. Yeah, news 60-second. Basically, okay. Well, in terms of news, what we have going on. It's gonna have to start on a negative, I can't lie. It's gonna have to. The fans, the fans. It's another talking point. I know last week or the last episode, we had to begin the Silverstone one talking about racism for like a good 20 minutes. And unfortunately, it's just happened again, to be honest. Um, people, I've seen loads of tweets, they were going everywhere about people being harassed, not just online, but literally at they were at the track being catcalled. Yeah, I don't even want to. There were some horrible things going on, things about pictures, things about things being said, certain people speaking Dutch to people, not realizing that they understood. Oh, was it even Dutch? I think it was. I'm pretty sure I've seen one person in particular talking about how she was being spoken, or not directly, but she overheard someone speaking to their friend in Dutch about her who let's just say she understood, and I'm sure she wishes she didn't. But in general, it's just disgusting, to be honest. Like I was listening to On the Chicane. It's another podcast. Check them out if you haven't heard of them. Normally I don't like to listen to a podcast. Like I've got into the habit of not listening to podcasts before filming this one, but that one kind of slipped through. I was a bit bored on YouTube and it came up on my subscriptions, so I just thought, you know what, I'll listen to it. And the two girls in there spoke about it very like the way they put their points is very good, and they spoke very passionately about it. Because obviously, I've got to say from my perspective, this isn't something that I can personally relate to, but you know, I feel like being a human being, as much as you might not know the struggles that people might have gone through, or you might not understand what it's like to walk past a group of guys and, you know, overhear something or know that they're looking or whatever it is that might happen, you should still be able to like empathize with the feelings of someone else, or when you're told these kind of experiences, you should understand how that would make you feel, I guess. Like, I don't know, I feel like people are just bad at kind of putting themselves in other people's shoes, as simple as it is. And as much as we're told as children growing up, or I feel like a lot of people haven't weirdly, but you're told like, don't do to someone else what you didn't do to yourself, or whatever it is, and all of this stuff. And then we get grown men just not following this advice. And then we ask why we hear it all the time or why we get bored of hearing all this stuff, because surely everyone's understood it by now, but clearly we haven't. So yeah, just do better, I guess. Guys got to be doing better. The track as well and the stuff I was hearing things about. I haven't been to like, big events like concerts or I haven't been to a race before. I probably mentioned that a few times. So I don't know what a good event and a bad event would look like, but people talking about there should be more security, there should be a phone line or whatever it is, like just things in place to help out with that stuff. The trackside people clearly weren't prepared for that, but their reaction was putting up a message on one of the screens about like being nice or something, and it just, I don't know. It's acknowledgement, but it's a bit of a slap in the face. And then obviously F1 came out with their same usual we condemn this and that. And obviously you can tell it was a big deal, because if it was just a couple like Twitter accounts saying this kind of stuff and it was one or two events to one or two girls, F1 definitely wouldn't have mentioned it at all. But it got to the point where they had to, and they said something, and their reaction was the exact same. Well, I can't say, obviously it's not going to be the exact same, but essentially what they've basically done is whipped out their condemning notes in their files of someone's computer, switched out the words racism and discrimination, homophobia, whatever it is, sexual harassment, and then just put that out there on Twitter, and problem solved, I guess. So women, if you don't feel comfortable at the track, F1's posted there, they've condemned it. So there's nothing more they can do, unfortunately. So yes, that's your problem now. Don't take that out of context. Um, that's so weird, I got to think about what I say. Basically, just people have got to be, I don't know, people have just got to stop being idiots. And obviously, the main thing, actually, the biggest thing that we can take away from this, because it's very easy to say it's not me and what can I do about it and I can't do anything or whatever it is. Just be vigilant. Like, if you notice it, call it out. And if you see someone who's uncomfortable, obviously, if they're understandably not trusting towards you or whatever it is, I don't know, you don't have to be forward with it, but like at least offer some sort of support. So I don't know, people just got to look out for each other, because I feel like the worst thing, this is something else I'm obviously picking up from on the chicane. Definitely listen to what they had to say about it. Um, it sounds like the worst thing that could happen is if it happens in broad daylight in public with people around, and then the surrounding people don't do anything. Because then what's the point? Then you're literally like just as vulnerable by yourself as you are in front of other people, thinking you're safer in a crowd, and then the crowd does nothing. That's just, I don't know, I would lose faith in humanity at that point. So yeah, horrific start, but it had to be said. Um, and literally, actually, probably like half an hour before I recorded this, an Aston Martin employee who, I don't know the full situation. I don't know if I think they were fired. Um, Aston said it was for performance or whatever it is, but he's come out and spoken to Sky Sports and said he was facing racism. Pretty sure in the report that I saw, he started work in February, which means this year he started work with Aston specifically, and he's been facing like discrimination, racism during his time there. And these are the same people who, when you apply for a placement there, which I did, they're going to give you the whole equal opportunities employer stuff. If you go on their website or wherever it is, they're going to say, we race as one and all of this, and we have a zero tolerance policy for discrimination. They're going to be the same ones retweeting all of the statements that F1 does about condemning racism and all the rest of it and all that, and the entire list of it. And then in their own company, they've got this stuff going on now. They've said that they've dealt with it, and I think I saw a statement about the people who were doing this to not be employed there anymore. And you'd hope that would be the case, but I don't know. I don't know. You can't really. There's not much more I can say on that, to be honest. So yeah, it's disappointing. It would be nice to have him on, actually. I feel like the guy was from South Africa. It was his dream to work in F1, and he actually made it. Like, similar situation to me, and that's the most terrifying thing about it all. Like, this is the kind of spiral I'm going to get into when I'm here without Yusuf to keep me in check. But like, fully, if I started watching F1 when I was 6 or 7 years old. I was probably about 13, when I realized I couldn't be a driver because, my parents weren't rich enough. So I'm pretty good at maths and physics. I thought, you know what, I'll be an engineer. So I'm working towards that. In terms of I might not ever be employed by an F1 team, but in terms of the checklist of doing well in your GCSEs and then doing well in your A levels and then getting to university and being in a good university and I don't know, gaining experience, doing your first year, your second year, good grades, being on the right course, and all the rest of it. In terms of the entire like timeline, I am very close to the end. Like in theory, if I was a better candidate, I guess I could have been working as a placement student at an F1 team in September. If things, worked out, whatever it is, I could be on a grad scheme with an F1 team this time next year. If not, I could do a master's or whatever it is. Basically, I'm within a couple years in it if I wanted to go straight from uni to thing and I get accepted. But it's stories like that that really put me off. And it's the kind of thing where people say, to get more women into the sport, more people of color, or whatever it is, or, just being more open and diverse and getting these people and convincing them. Sure, you could say I was inspired by Lewis and I was inspired by seeing someone like me on the grid and all the rest of it. But when they start pushing the initiatives as well and they try and get, the kids that are in school right now to start taking STEM subjects, they're going to see stuff like this as well. And then they're going to be put off. And they're right at the beginning. So you're going to put them off literally as they start. I've been making my way here for years. This was my end goal. And now it just puts everyone off. Like, I don't know. When things like this come out and the reaction isn't strong enough or sufficient or whatever it is, you're going to end up pushing people away and then you're just making the problem worse. So once again, pressure on F1 to actually just improve. I feel like the Netflix series and all of the attention or whatever it is, people focus a lot actually. People love focusing on the fans. They say like, the Drive to Survive fans, they're the problem. And there's so many new fans and they're all awful and they don't know nothing about the sport and they want to watch because they think the drives are attractive and they don't care about the cars and they don't know about Prost versus Senna and they don't appreciate anything and all of this and they've made everything toxic. In reality, I feel like F1 just couldn't handle this new wave of people. Like they were doing very well with their like 70-year-old like old white men watching on TV, going to the races, not caring about anything. And now suddenly F1, because it's got this influx of young people, they need to start being against this stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like if a girl was harassed at a track 20 years ago or whatever, which I'm sure happened, she wouldn't have been able to say anything. And if she did, it wouldn't have gotten any attention, and then F1 wouldn't have had to do anything about it. But now they have a responsibility to deal with that. And I don't think they can handle that. So I think the real problem with Drive to Survive is like F1 from a distance looked like a 7. Like from across the room, from a distance, it with like, the right lighting and stuff, F1 looked great. And then you walk up and you approach F1. I'm not, I'm not gonna personify it too hard, but you walk up, look F1 in the in the eyes, and it's a 3. I'm sorry, it's a 3. She's a 10, but let's racism slide, let's sexual harassment slide, let's all of this stuff slide. I don't know. I don't know. That's all I've got to say, to be honest. I feel like not a lot can be done right now, especially with the management we have in place right now. So it's up to them to either do better or we just have to wait for them to get bored. But I feel like with the amount of money they're going to be making now, they're not going to be leaving anytime soon. Um, Speaking of appearances, I've had my braces taken off. Just thought I'd slip that in there. Also, I've got my hair tied up so I look like a palm tree. So if you're on the audio, you might as well just hop over to the YouTube video purely for that. This is Yusuf would never have let that go before. but it's gonna have to slip in. I know hopefully he's watching this and he sends me a message about how dumb I sound right now. Yeah, man, let's just get into the race, to be honest. Um, all right. So, first of all, it was a sprint race weekend, which to the new people will mean nothing. To the old fans, it will mean nothing. And in general, it just added nothing to the entire weekend. Like, I'm pretty sure, I think in terms of the points positions, I can check now. I think the top like five or something, or the top seven at one point hadn't even changed. Yeah, here we go. Hadn't even changed positions. So we've got sprint grid. Silence Russell up on that. I'm just gonna check. Okay, so Perez overtook basically everyone. So Lewis moved up. Alonso obviously got pushed down. Lewis moved up behind Magnussen. So Lewis overtook one person on the road, and Perez overtook up to fifth. Other than that, nothing changed. So no matter sure the Ferraris had a little battle at the start or whatever it is, but essentially it did nothing. And in terms of entertainment, it also did nothing. So personally, I don't see the point. Even the commentators actually, I'm pretty sure Crofty is for taking it out of the championship, and I completely agree with that. I feel like the sprints should be made their own separate championship because then you can do whatever you want with them. If you want to shove the drivers in equal cars somehow, go for it. If you want to reverse the grids, go for it. If you want to do something stupid with the points positions or have some weird random trophy made by some unknown artist as winner of the thing and then have some stupid ceremony in a country no one's ever heard of just to sell expensive tickets. You know what? Like, do whatever you want, but don't mess with the actual main championship because it just doesn't do anything. Because the problem is you can't to bring entertainment, you want to be out there and you want to reverse the grids and you want to do something stupid and you want to change up the order. But then you're ruining the pure essence of drive the car fast and win the race, which is what we're all here for. So if you just take it out of the championship, you can do whatever you want. You have all the freedom in the world, and no one can complain because it's separate. Do you know? So I feel like that's what should happen. I would be for it. Um, I don't know, it'd just be more interesting to see like if F1's trying to be bold and out there or whatever it is and bring entertainment to people, like do it. I'm pretty sure at that point you'd have tracks fighting over having the sprint because like if you try and sell the drivers in equal cars, which is just a random idea, which I'm sure they could do, people would be dying to watch that live. Same with reverse grids, maybe not as much, but still, it would be worth going to. You're not going to be like, oh, okay, which race should I go to? Which, I'm going to drop a couple £100, an expensive holiday's worth of money to go watch an F1 race. Do I go to Austria with its beautiful mountains and whatever it is, or Belgium with its beautiful scenery, equally great tracks, historic, um, lively crowds, blah blah blah, whatever it is. Oh wait, Austria's got a sprint race. Guess I'm gonna go there. That's the deal breaker for me. Yeah, that's what's tipped it over the edge. No one's saying that. So I don't know. I'd say take out the championship. It just makes things more interesting. And then you can try and prove if you have some creativity. I'm sure the bosses of F1 are extremely creative with their brand new ideas, all known to be very fresh people. What do we have? So even before the sprint, because I'm just not even going to talk about it. Basically, nothing happened. Qualifying, Mercedes. I can talk about Mercedes for as long as I want right now. I might just have to slip Yusuf the P45 or whatever that document is, so I can waffle about Mercedes. Or maybe it's just more enjoyable to say it to him because it burns him inside. Um, Mercedes were actually quick. Austria is normally a track they're horrific at, and suddenly they come out and they have the best qualifying car they've had all year. No clue what happened. Don't know where that came from, but they ended up both binning it into the wall anyway. So it's annoying. I feel like Lewis could have been easily P2. maybe slapped it on pole at some point, but it was looking like a P2 or 3 at the very least, and he went and ruined it. George did as well. Is that a coincidence? Is it something to do with the car? Was it just driver error? I guess we'll never know. Um, Mercedes did actually they put out a video about it's like a Q&A, and then they do questions about strategy and stuff. They might have answered it on there. I can't be bothered to check. Maybe I'll watch it while I'm editing this. So if you want the answer to that question, check the comments or something. I might put it in the description. I might not have done. I'm by myself, okay? I'm editing it all and stuff. Normally me and you have split the workload, so allow me. Um, but yeah, other than that, to be honest, I think that was about all I took from qualifying. The main one was actually no, so Alpine, just as a quick side note, are very quickly securing themselves into that um fourth fastest car slot. The McLarens and the Hasses and all the rest of them, their pace seems to jump around from race to race, track to track. They can definitely be faster than Alpine on their day, but it's looking like Alpine are look a bit more consistent. And in terms of pace-wise, I would say they're looking like the fourth fastest car, which puts them in a good position. It's quite hard to break into the top three, but it's enough to convince Alonso probably to stay for a couple more years. Uh, Ocon isn't doing too badly himself, so maybe they'll just continue with that. Um, yeah, Daniel Ricciardo must be. I mean, to be fair, even if he was in the Alpine, I doubt he'd be doing much damage. So tough for him. And then the top three under a tenth, which was quite surprising to see, but good stuff nonetheless. And then we just go straight into the race. To be honest, best performance because okay, well, you know what? First thing, before we even mention drivers, the 2022 regulations, specifically the aero ones, have to get a mention because that was incredible. There's this one battle I saw, uh, which I'm sure they're clipping and posting everywhere now, where I wish I remembered who it was, but I believe the two Hasses were involved. There might have been a McLaren, there might have been an Alpine. I honestly have no memory of what happened, but basically two cars became five. It became a five car. Oh wait, no, I think I found it. Am I going backwards or forwards? Where is it? Yes. Is that an Alpha as well? Yeah, Alfa Romeo, McLaren. There it is. Found them. Right, we have. Who is this? Norris, Alonso, Magnussen, Schumacher, and Zhou. A five-car battle. I just named five cars that were sharing the track together in one picture, swapping positions. Now, as much as the new regulations were meant to fix racing and all of this stuff, since 2019, surprisingly, the individual races have actually been quite good. Lewis definitely walked away with the championship in 2019. And he did the same in 2020. But if you look at the individual races from those years, I'm pretty sure most of them were very solid. And they had some significant things that happened, or there was some sort of entertainment, or there might have been a battle for the win, or whatever it is. Even if Lewis ended up on top, or whatever it is, there was some good entertainment there. And with this, so if you've been watching over those past few years since 2019, it might seem slightly surprising to you, but I don't think you fully understand that there were five cars in that battle. Like, I grew up on the Sebastian Vettel era where the guy would win by 20 seconds after taking four extra pit stops. Like, and then the Mercedes dominance of 2014 to, we'll say, 16 before they started battling Ferrari, where they would go out and just be a second a lot faster than everyone else. And sure, Lewis and Nico would battle a bit, but no one else is in the conversation. Five cars is incredible. So honestly, it's very significant, and like we need to appreciate what's happening right now because it might become the norm, but we shouldn't get like used to it, if that makes sense. Because I think very easily people will get used to it and then start thinking it's boring if this doesn't happen. Like, this is a very rare occurrence. So yeah, just worth noting that. Um But in terms of driver best performance, okay. It's very hard to take it away from Charles Leclerc. Obviously, the guy won, so it's, you can just name him like that. But to overtake Max Verstappen 3 times in front of his home crowd, which isn't his home crowd, and then manage the issues at the end, I think it's a very solid drive from him, to be honest. And he had to dust his teammate as well at the beginning, make sure they weren't fighting too much. So overall, like it's a solid drive from him. He's done a very good job. Once again, as much as Max looked like he gave up at some point, and the Ferrari definitely had the pace on him, the fact he overtook him 3 times on track, like the fact Ferrari had the confidence to say we can hit this many laps later or do whatever it is, or just shove him out behind Verstappen. It doesn't matter because we're going to get past him anyway. That's a powerful statement. And I think that's important, especially with the issue we had at the end. To manage that too, it's a good performance from him. Lewis, again, he's got to get a mention. 3 podiums in a row. The guy he's here. He's about it. And Mercedes in general, actually, after George punted Perez, took the penalty and then came back. It's a solid drive from him. Mercedes have come away with a lot of points now because if Charles gets both Ferrari and Red Bull had both one car retire, they came third and fourth. I'm pretty sure that's what 15 and 12. So that's 27. That's more. So Mercedes has once again come away with the most points. I'm not going to talk too much, and obviously they've only gained 2 on Ferrari, but like strictly constructor standings, I actually think I saw a post somewhere that they have got more points than Ferrari in the past 5 races. It's not by a lot, so they're not gaining by loads, but if this is them in their struggling times and they're, the Mercedes are in the pits of hell right now and they're struggling, I'll take it personally. I'll definitely take it because last time I checked, when Ferrari was struggling, they were 6th in the championship. So, and that was like 2 years long. I mean, 1 year and then the other year they came like third by it. Well, they scraped third on the last race. So, you know what? I will take what's going on right now. Yeah. I guess other than that, Mick Schumacher has to get a mention for 6th. The guy's doing pretty well. Someone said he looked at his he took a DNA test, looked at his 23andMe, and then remembered he's German, son of Michael Schumacher, and the guy's just remembered he's meant to be good. So I don't know, something happened, something clicked in his head because in the past, since Silverstone, he's battled Max. Obviously, Max had the damaged car, but still, he's battled Lewis in the sprint race with some very quality defending actually. And now he's gone and finished 6th. So things are looking good for Mick Schumacher, just as we were talking about how he might end up losing his seat. He's put in some notable performances, and this is exactly what I was saying, where he would need this kind of thing on his CV. So when he walks into that meeting, he can go, I got a P6. Doesn't matter how, doesn't matter who retired, it doesn't matter where it was, where his teammate was. He can say he got a P6. And that's what's important because it's points on the board. So he's going to need a couple more of them, and then he'll be easy with that contract for next year, which I don't believe he has at the moment, but he might do. Once again, can't be bothered to fact check. My laptop is in front of my PC keyboard. I think that's enough accolades, to be honest. I doubt I should be handing out anything for people who finished. Yeah. In terms of worst performance, it's got to be the fans. I mean, I've already mentioned this all at the beginning, but something I actually did forget to say. One thing I'm extremely tired of hearing is Max fans this, Lewis fans that, which fans were doing what and what's going on and all of this. Now, I've seen some horrific things from Max fans this weekend because obviously the majority of the people that were at Austria were Max fans. And I've seen some videos of people burning Mercedes merch. They have like fuck Lewis on t-shirts. Like it's weird, but the problem is if people constantly call out people for whatever it is and then attach the fact that they're a fan of someone to that, I'm sure if we took person by person, analyzed everyone or whatever it is, naturally some fan base is going to turn out worse than the others. And there's going to be a ranking of the better fan base. But realistically, that can't happen. Like, there's no way you can take everyone on Earth, figure out who's a fan of who, and then figure out who's objectively worse, and then suddenly have your tier list of the worst fans ranked. Like, you have, Lewis and Max fans, and then you have whoever fans, and then turns out Yuki Tsunoda fans are like the most harmless people or whatever it is. That doesn't work. So what's the point in bringing up who's fans of who when you're talking about things like this? Like, I'm completely tired of seeing a post about, I don't know, a woman saying that she's been sexually harassed at the track, and then the comments are like, wouldn't expect anything less from Max fans. Who cares? Even if it's them that's causing the problem, whatever it is, that only opens up the responses to be Lewis fans aren't much better. Here's stuff that they've done. And then there's stuff about booing at the track, and then this and that, and then situations get compared, and it just completely loses the meaning of the conversation because suddenly it's gone from someone opening up about like a situation that happened to them and maybe asking for help, maybe trying to raise awareness, maybe trying to just open up. They've given up a part of them. It's like, you've just put out something that would make you look vulnerable to the world, and it's getting thousands of likes and retweets or whatever it is. And now your comment section, instead of filled with supportiveness, helpful stuff, people, like, talking about how they wouldn't accept this or whatever it is. I saw someone actually, she posted, I think she was with her boyfriend or whatever. She was trackside and then said she found a spot that seemed like safe in terms of with the people who were around, and then tweeted where she was to tell people, like, if you feel unsafe or whatever, come to where I am. Instead of getting comments like that, you're getting replies with, yeah, but 51G, yeah, but this crash, yeah, but that crash, but why are you booing my driver? He might have been hurt and all of this or whatever. There's just no point. There really is no point. You're never going to get the answer to who's got the most toxic fan base, so why try and figure it out? That's all I got to say. Um, yeah, that was tough. Let's hope my mic didn't pick that one up. Um, yeah. Well, the Ferrari power unit has also got to take a fat loss on this week because it literally blew up. It literally, like, there was a bulge. Like, the thing in the side pod actually just, it rattled it, which is proper weird, especially as Sainz was literally just about to overtake Verstappen for second, which is so annoying because I would have loved to see that happen. And a Ferrari 1-2 was definitely overdue, but yes, it wasn't meant to be. They bottled it once again. It was also the fact it caught fire. That was terrifying. Seeing Sainz trying to get out of the car while it was rolling backwards. That's got to be something that gets looked into because how are you going to not be able to stop your car on a hill and get out? So now he's got to sit there with his foot on the brake, deciding whether he tries to get out of a car that's rolling backwards on fire, which will push the flames onto him, and then end up with a car on the track, or he just sits there in the flames with his foot on the brake, waiting for marshals and stuff. That can't be on. So that definitely needs to be looked into. Also, like, marshals need to get paid. Pretty sure we mentioned this a lot of times last year, but just putting that out there. People were like criticizing them for, trying to put the thing on or whatever it is, or the slow response, or not putting the fire out. I'm not gonna say what more do you expect, but like, they really should be paid for what they're doing. The guy's running up to a flaming car, which is rolling towards a track, and the thing itself weighs like 800 kilograms. And then because the wedge didn't work, he had to like try and stop it himself. So the guy's like leaning against the tire as it's like slowly crushing him while it's on fire. So listen, people are risking their lives. The drivers get money for risking their lives. The team bosses get money for whatever reason they get money for being CEOs, I guess. Everyone at risk is being paid. Why aren't the marshals getting money? I don't get it. I could be a ball boy for my local football team and them man would pay me, so I don't know why trackside marshals don't get paid. Um, yeah, the Red Bull tire deg. Tragic. How are you going to get overtaken by a title rival 3 times in front of your home fans? It's embarrassing. Underrated drive. Yeah, I mean, Lando P7, I guess. I don't know. The problem is people getting underrated drives is mainly just because their car suddenly has pace that weekend. So, I don't know. Well played to George for making it back to fourth, because I'm pretty sure he was last at some point. Other than that, nothing much to say really. Um, right. I think I'm gonna have to. Yeah, it's gonna have to be predictions to be honest. Right. How are we doing this? Unless I've got more stuff to say. No, I think I'm pretty much done. So there's gonna be a bit weird because I'm gonna have to do this without him here. Some of this stuff we will have to save for the next one. In terms of fantasy, I've once again been baited by practice. Honestly, I can't be bothered anymore. I really can't. It's actually tragic. So I am now the 5th, 6th, and 7th pack. I'm now in 7th out of 13 people in our fantasy league. The link is, or the code is still in the description, whatever. So if you want to join whenever you feel like it. It's not too late to join. It just makes my position look better. So please go ahead and do that. I came 6th once again, even though weirdly I've got 234 points, which I thought was pretty good for this week, but clearly everyone just had a great week. Basically I got finessed by Perez. Perez really screwed me over there. I feel like I could have got big points from him. Who do we have? So Yusuf has extended his lead with his Mega Driver. To be fair, it's only 100 though, in front of the other guy with a Mega Driver. So there's that. But he did pretty well. 300 and what's that? Yeah, 391 this week. It's tough. It's tough. Now I'm really gonna have to be smart about where I use my Mega Driver. Who do we have? Okay, so it's getting quite close at the top though, but the people above me didn't do very well. Yeah, it's looking like generally people either had a really good week or a horrible week. But points around all across the board were higher than normal. So interesting. Clearly we're getting good at this. And then onto the this is going to be tough. Okay, onto the previous predictions that we had before, just to set us up. The predictions for France I will do, and then I'll message him for them or something. Right. This is going to be. I'm going to have to like keep track of the score. So, as usual, sprint races we completely ignore their existence. So we look at the qualifying grid and then look at what's it called? We look at qualifying, then look at the race like normal. So we have quality top 3. Max, Charles. He's got it right. Both went with Max and Charles. He went with Sainz third. I went with Perez, but Perez had an awful qualifying. So, yeah, tough stuff. Very tough stuff. Is that even? Yeah, it is. Sprint grid. Right. Cold. The race results. We both thought Max would win. That's wrong. That's also wrong. I went with Lewis third. By guessing Lewis comes third, I did scrape it. So you do love to see that. You really do. The faith in Lewis Hamilton's worked. I'm sure if we go back to last week, he was laughing at that decision. But what can I say? I'm just really smart. Right. What else do we have here? So the last one is driver of the day. I actually have no clue who got driver of the day, so we're gonna have to find out. Why can't I? Right, this is actually so annoying. I don't have enough desk space for this. Um, right, there we go. Formula One. So we both put down Max Verstappen. Oh, I mean, I don't know why I'm checking then. It literally just doesn't matter. But out of principle, I'm gonna have to look. When was it? 9th. Oh my god. It was Mick Schumacher. Yeah, there's no way anyone was getting that. Driver of the day was Mick Schumacher. Fair enough. That leaves, I guess it's all on the DNFs. And the number of DNFs, it was 3. So neither of us got it right. Well, I'm pretty sure that means it's even though. No, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's even. So nothing happens. I will get my France predictions in now. I will ask you for them. The overall score now is 8-5 if we're adding points for getting it equal. I might as well just move this. Cool. Right. France. Normally a good track for Mercedes. Good track. It's basically a good track from everyone. It's just flat and boring. So, who could be doing well? I think Merc are gonna. I can't see them breaking into the top, but I feel like someone could bag a cheeky second. I don't think Merc has come higher than third this whole time. It's gonna be tough. I think first things first, you got to back Max to. I'm gonna have to say it's gonna be a high speed corners. High speed corners. A lot of corners. You know what? Charles Leclerc. Where is it? Charles Leclerc. Max Verstappen. Do I just go Carlos Sainz? You know what? I'm gonna say, I want to go George Russell. I feel like George Russell's gonna bag something here. Why do I feel like? Yeah, yeah. Cool. Race results. I feel like Max Verstappen will win. I feel like Lewis will come second, and I feel like Perez will come third. It's extremely random, but you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. France is boring. France has loads of runoff. France is flat. That means battle-wise, there shouldn't be any DNFs. But oh wait, I'm meant to do driver of the day. Mad. I do Max, probably. It's just the safest bet at this point. Actually, I could go Perez if I'm imagining some sort of comeback drive. Now I'll go Max. And DNFs. I'm gonna have to. I want to play it safe. I want to say like 2, maybe 3, but we'll go with 2. I think it's going to be a very small number. And that is it. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for listening. If you made it this far, highly appreciate it. Give us a rating on whatever audio platform you listen to us to on. If this is on the YouTube, check out the socials and stuff, which will be around the borders of the video. We try and be active on there. Join the conversation. We do well, I'm mainly the one on the socials. Give me a reason to be on there. I try and be on there quite a bit. We appreciate the interactions and stuff. Chatting to people's quite fun because I guess that's the whole point of this, just talking to people about F1. Yeah, I guess that's it. We will be back, hopefully the two of us, next week for the French Grand Prix, which could be horrendous, but you know what? It might be entertaining. I think it wasn't too bad last year, so we'll see what happens. And that's that's about it. That's all I've got to say. So we'll see you next week. Goodbye.